بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته, and welcome to Fiqh al-Muamalat online classes. And today's topics is Fiqh al-Muamalat definitions, whereby we'll be covering the literal meaning and the technical meaning of Fiqh al-Muamalat in order to have a better understanding about this field of knowledge. Let's start saying, Fiqh al-Muamalat, of course, we start with the word of fiqh. Fiqh means in Arabic understanding. So fiqh, from its literal meaning in Arabic, means understanding. And this is why if you look at the Quran al-Karim in Surah Hud, they said, قَالُوا يَا شُعَيْبُ مَا نَفْقَهُ كَثِيرًا مِمَّا تَقُولُ, which means, O Shu'aib, we do not understand much of what you say. So as you can see here in the verse of the Quran al-Karim, ma nafqahu, the word fiqh is equivalent in the translations, in the English versions, to the word understand, meaning we do not understand. Ma nafqahu, we don't understand. So the fiqh means understanding. Means that either you understand or you don't understand, but the word of fiqh mean in its generic meaning, understanding. And the same goes for the hadith that has been mentioned using also the literal meaning of this term, where the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fi din." He for whom Allah wills His blessing is granted with the understanding of the deen. Al-fiqhu fi din, understanding of the deen. So the fiqh is the understanding. So the word understanding in Arabic, in the conversations of people, in its literal meaning, indicates the understanding. From a technical meaning, it has been defined as the knowledge of legal rules, which is al-ahkam al-shar'iyya, pertaining to conduct that have been derived from their specific evidences. We try to a little bit maybe give a further explanation on this technical definition. It said the knowledge of legal rules. The knowledge means the, of course, the informations, ready to provide knowledge. Either the knowledge is ready with you to give, the informations pertaining, of course, later on, as we are going to see, to the Sharia rules being halal or haram. That knowledge, whether it is ready to be provided or it's not ready upon rising the issue, but it will be provided in the future. So here normally the knowledge, we talk whether the knowledge is ready or going to be ready. Why? Because here we are talking the positions of providing knowledge, and here we are talking about the qualifications basically of the jurists and the Sharia scholars. This is why if you ask a mufti, if you ask a Sharia scholars, and he has the knowledge ready with you, so he will provide it, either, for example, permissible or otherwise. But let's say you ask questions which is very complex, and the jurist or the mufti of the Sharia scholars has no ready answer for that, and he will tell you, I don't know. So meaning I don't know what is the Sharia ruling pertaining this issue. So that answer doesn't disqualify him from being a Sharia scholar of a jurist. This is why the concept of of knowledge in this definition, whether the knowledge is ready or going to be ready, depends on the circumstances of the cases. But the bottom line, the jurist or the Sharia scholars or the mufti has the qualification to exercise what's so-called the ijtihad in order to produce that Sharia ruling upon rising the issue. So the knowledge here, it is of course related to legal rules. They said the knowledge of the legal rules, and the legal rules means here, as mentioned in the definition itself, al-ahkam al-shar'iyya. Al-ahkam al-shar'iyya is a plural of hukum shar'i, and the hukum shar'i could be one of the five that you know. It could be wajib, which is the obligation. It could be mandub, which is the recommendation. It could be mubah, which is the permissibility. It could be makruh, which is the dislike, and could be prohibited, which is the haram. So meaning that we are talking about a knowledge which related to the Sharia ruling that could be permissible or otherwise within the 5 Sharia ruling. Now also this 5 Sharia ruling, based on the definition as well, is pertaining to the conduct of the person. It is related to the deeds of a human being, to the deeds of people. And this could be reflected or presented or demonstrated in a form of actions, physical actions, like walking, writing, using the head, using the body, because those actions could the Sharia rule applicable for it. For example, you walk to some place which is not allowed, it could be not permissible. You harm somebody with your hand, it could be not permissible. You hurt someone with your tongue, it could not be permissible. Validity of transactions through offer can indicate the permissibility or otherwise. The bottom line here that the conduct could be demonstrated in a form of actions of the human being body, his arms, and it could be also related to his tongue, for example, his saying, and it could be related also to his heart. And the heart, of course, here we are talking about the intentions, and the intention has an implications as well on the human being transactions and actions. The only thing that the reward and punishments will be granted from God, because He's the one who knows exactly what is the status of the intention in human being actions. Because the intention at the end of the day, it may be related to the tongue, the saying, what you are saying, or related to the action, what you are doing. And it may impact those actions and statements based on your intention. If the intention is disclosed, so the impact could be detected by the Sharia scholars, the juries, the people, and as a result of that, the Sharia implications will take its effect. But if the intention is hidden, of course, you will not have that kind of impact due to the non-disclosure of the intention. So again, going back to the points here, so the actions of the Sharia ruling is pertaining to the deeds of a human being and his actions that could be in a form of physical actions or the action of the tongue, of the actions of the heart. That has been derived from their specific evidences, and the specific evidences here we are referring mainly or directly to the Quran, to the provisions of the Quran, the verses of the Quran, or the provisions of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, or indirectly to some other sources, like for example ijma, analogy, and istihsan, and other source of knowledge. So in a summary, the definition is saying that fiqh is a knowledge related to the Sharia rules that could be one of the 5 Sharia ruling, obligations, recommendation, permissibility, dislike, or prohibitions. And these are related to the actions of a human being that could be demonstrated in a form of physical actions of the body or the tongue or the heart. And these Sharia ruling have been derived, meaning that the permissibility or otherwise have been derived by the revelations, by the wahi, by the provision of the Quran and the Sunnah, which are very direct, but it could be also derived from indirect sources such as ijma and others, which are normally discussed in details in usul al-fiqh. So if I go back to after providing the definition in its literal meaning and its technical meaning, if we go back to the title of this field of knowledge, which is Fiqh al-Muamalat, and try to pick up one by word in order to provide more disclosure and meaning and simplify the terminology, we may say that Fiqh al-Muamalat al-Maliyyah. That's the accurate description and the title and theme of this field of knowledge. But of course, in our pronunciations, we just say Fiqh al-Muamalat in short, but actually precisely it is Fiqh al-Muamalat al-Maliyya. Why? Because Fiqh al-Muamalat is very broad, as we have highlighted before, which may include the family law, which may include the criminal law, each may include as other sections. But the one that describes the finest business and finance is Fiqh al-Muamalat al-Maliyyah, but of course it is acceptable just to say Fiqh al-Muamalat for easy and a quicker pronunciation. So the first term, which is fiqh, means understanding, and of course in its technical meaning, as we mentioned, means the Sharia law here, meaning the 5 legal ruling. Then the other one is al-Muamalat, which is a plural of muamala. One muamala is one transactions. Muamalat is many transactions. Al-Maliyyah is coming from the word al-mal. Al-mal means wealth, means finance, means a property. Then you end up by saying Fiqh al-Muamalat al-Maliyyah, which means Islamic financial transactions or Sharia financial transactions. Both are correct, but the most popular one, of course, is the Islamic financial transaction, because the fiqh is equivalent to Sharia or Islamic, and al-Muamalat is equivalent to the transactions, and al-Maliyah, it is equivalent to what's so called the financial. So this is in overall the descriptions and the breakdown of the term. And as a result of that, you may say Fiqh al-Muamalat al-Maliyah, or Fiqh al-Muamalat in short, which means the Islamic financial transactions, again, which determine what is permissible and what is not permissible, because by definition we said the Sharia knowledge of the Sharia rules, which means the Ahkam Sharia pertaining here to the transactions of a human being in business and finance. This is if you want to define the Fiqh al-Muamalat from the context of this definition of the Fiqh. It is a set of rules. It is the Sharia knowledge related to the what's so-called obligations, recommendations, permissibility, dislike, and prohibits pertaining the conducts and the deeds and the transactions of a human being in their business, finance, and trade, in order to make sure that they are acting in their business and finance and trade according to the Sharia rules and principles. As I mentioned, this is applicable to the traditional market, and it is applicable also to the other markets, being banking market or Islamic capital market or the kafir market or wealth management market or other fields of knowledge, like some of the platforms for online business transactions. With that, thank you very much, and hope to see you inshallah soon. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.